Hello, beautiful soul. Awesome. I'm so happy I've completed your soul realignment level one. Yay. And thank you so much for being so patient. Okay, so I live on a sailboat. And me and my fiance, we are currently traveling around the world, which right now we're located in La Paz, Baja California Sur, Mexico, which we were planning on being in Panama, but due to the COVID situation, we're still here in Mexico. So this past summer, it was only supposed to be 2.5 months, but it ended up being 4 months. I moved on because it gets way too hot here. And I just recently moved back onto the boat. And I tell you what, even though it was only 4 months, in those 4 months, I'm still trying to get everything back into the boat, back situated. And the temperatures have still been in the 100 plus degrees, 106, 108. And yeah, it's been intense, but I'm so happy I'm getting to do this video for you. Yay. Okay, now I will be reading a lot of information simply because I write it all out. And then I will also be reading from my iPad. Now it is a lot of information, okay? So, you can rewatch this video as many times as you desire. And also, too, I will be sending you a 21-day homework assignment. You just read it once a day, okay? The main thing here is to just relax and enjoy this energy work, okay? Now, the first thing that we're going to be going over is your soul profile. And the primary energy of your soul is masculine. And that has nothing to do with sex, okay? That has to do with where you resonate in your energy body, your chakra system. And that would say that you resonate from the heart chakra up to the divine. I am also primary divine masculine energy. So again, it has nothing to do with sex. It's just the energy of your soul is more connected to the divine than it is to planet Earth, Mother Gaia. And the next thing that we're going to go over is your primary gift. Now, these are the gifts that make up the largest portion of your divine soul blueprint. So this is where your soul specialties are, okay? And you actually have two. And what that means is take one large portion of your divine soul blueprint. Imagine a pie, a round pie, and you have like a big portion of that, okay? Now, equally in that proportion, you have two primary gifts. Now, I will be reading about those. Let me find them. The first one is the sixth energy center, the sixth chakra, which is right here, the third eye, sixth energy center, and it's called divine truth. This is the energy center of divine truth. Divine truth is the truth of our divinity, a deeply personal, highly subjective truth that differs from one individual to the next. This is a highly visual realm. They are seers and may be highly intuitive and clairvoyant. They may also be drawn to the visual arts and photography as a way to express truth. They are spiritual warriors at heart that take a strong stand for the truth and bring it to light where it is needed. They have a gift for seeing people and situations very clearly as they truly are. They have incredible powers of observation. When congruent, they are tell it like it is, outspoken individual that speaks up when something is amiss and tell the truth that everyone needs to hear. They find success when they help others uncover and take a stand for their personal, unique truth and help others see themselves for who they truly are. They are natural consultants and advisors. We inherently trust them because of their relationship with truth. Their natural consulting skills serve them well in the business in the realm of sales. Ideally, they also manage by coaching and consulting their employees into their own best way of accomplishing results. Within a corporate hierarchy, they are often the trusted advisor to their peers and beyond, the person who will speak the uncomfortable truth as needed. They often have a BS radar that is turned up very high, and they may also be natural human lie detectors. Their blunt communication style sometimes gets them into trouble. Six energy center souls must learn to speak truth in a way that others can actually hear it. The negative polarity of this energy center arises when the truth is unwelcome. They must address or eliminate situations and relationships in which the truth isn't present or welcome. Truth can be highly inconvenient. If they do not address these situations, they may observe but not say much or share their observations. They may become the strong, silent type, which is certainly safer but does not allow their gift to shine. Children who incarnate into situations where truth is unwelcome may be told, "Shh, we don't say that," because truth is not always polite or convenient. They may quickly learn to keep their observations to themselves. They may assume that other people don't want to hear what they have to say or can't handle their perspective. They may withdraw completely into a visual medium that speaks for itself, photography or other visual arts, or graphs and charts, to the exclusion of constructive verbal communication. They may also fall into the dysfunctional aspect of this energy center, shifting from truth into judgment. They can have a very black and white way of looking at the world that does not allow for any truth but their own. And they become entrenched and rigid, and they can become aggressive and belligerent in expressing these rigid opinions, no longer insisting on truth, but on being right. Okay, now the second primary gift, which both of these gifts, especially together, are awesome. It is the fifth energy center, the throat chakra. It's called divine communication. This is the energy center of communication, self-expression, and authenticity. This is the realm of the teacher and the written and spoken word. They have a very special relationship with language. Words will have taste and substance for them. They are natural experts at communication. They can become exceptional writers, speakers, or both. They innately know how to inspire and move people into action through words. They excel at helping others change at the level of thought and mind by introducing new ways of looking at life through the written or spoken word. This often translates into the realm of business within the areas of marketing and sales, where excellent communication skills are key. It is imperative that fifth energy center people use their words in how they make a living. This is often what unlocks abundance for them. It is always important for them to have an audience of sorts to communicate with, whether that's one person or a group of listeners or readers. They are highly verbal people, often constantly talking, teaching, and having whole conversations in their own minds. They always need to talk things through. And one of the greatest gifts anyone can give them is to simply listen and let them work through their thoughts. Work, yeah, their thoughts through verbally. They are teachers, but are frequently even more comfortable in the realm of student. They can be avid, lifelong learners and voracious readers. They can be prolific content creators and may be full of ideas of what to write and teach. However, because this is the realm of authenticity, it is vital that they express their own unique opinion, expertise gathered through personal experience and the results they themselves have created. They have strong opinions and perspectives, and their abundance will actually come by upholding their unique point of view publicly. They get on little soapboxes and are highly outspoken. Most especially, they will find themselves giving excellent advice that surprises even them when they are in conversation. They are a natural channel, and channeling happens in the moment. The negative polarity of this energy center is when their communication falls on deaf ears. Communication, after all, is a two-way street. If nobody is listening and engaging with their communications, fifth energy center people must either find an audience that actually values what they have to say or relay their message differently. If they don't address that nobody is listening, they may fall into inauthenticity and just start communicating what they think people want to hear. Unfortunately, they may also start simply rehashing what they have heard from other teachers or mentors, leading to plagiarism rather than authentic self-expression. Some fifth energy center people have become so conditioned to not speak their truth, being divine truth and divine communication. It's very important that you always speak your truth, right? Even if it isn't convenient. Okay, so they become so conditioned to not speak the truth that they hide in the student role. They will endlessly read, learn, and study, but not actually do anything, because then they might actually have something original to express. It is important that they learn, do, and then teach from their personal experience if they are to unlock the abundance of their divine gifts. If this energy center continues to remain unheard, they will end up in the dysfunctional aspect of their gifts and communicate to no one. Their gifts may come out through unwanted and often inappropriate advice. They may also talk, and talk some more without any regard for who is listening or whether anyone wants to hear it. They just talk for the sake of talking. If human beings aren't listening, they might find solace in the spiritual realm. They may journal and channel endlessly without ever publishing and serving the world through their gifts. Awesome. Okay. Now the next thing that we're going to go over is your soul group. Now you're actually a star seed, so yay. And we actually come from the same soul group. Awesome. And it's called Mintakan. Now this is where your soul originates from. Now, however, our home world is no longer inhabitable. So now we incarnate on other planets or we incarnate here on Earth. Now the name of the planet is called Mintaka. Mintaka is located in the constellation of Orion, and most Mintakans will recognize this constellation and constantly look at it in the night sky. Mintaka was a water world and a utopian civilization where no one made conscious negative choices. Mintakans have a very hard time with the amount of willful negativity on our planet. They do not understand choices to go to war, to hurt others, to lie, or be mean. Their great gift is to see only the positive potential in others, and this makes others feel extremely good about themselves. Mintakans often have rose-colored glasses on. They focus on the positive side of life. The glass is always half full, and every cloud has a silver lining. They are often completely blindsided by other people's choices for negativity. They simply don't understand these choices. Mintakans tend to invest themselves heavily in other people's potential. They usually are everyone's cheerleader and the person others turn to when they need to feel good about themselves. Mintakans need to develop greater discernment between someone's potential and the truth of who they actually are, as evidenced by their choices and current consequences. Mintalkins have a tendency to take people on as projects. This is especially true of Mintalkin women in romantic relationships. They tend to pick partners based on who that person wants to become rather than who they are. Mintalkins tend to overestimate others. Most people actually never step into their potential. They just enjoy being in the energy of someone who upholds it for them and shows it to them. Mintalkins can end up highly disillusioned and disappointed by others. They give people 4 or 5 or 6 chances, even when they are being heavily taken advantage of, because they don't expect negative choices from others. They must focus on embracing their own potential and actually leverage their ability to uplift others and bring out the best in them in a way that serves the Mintalkin rather than exhaust them. Mintalkins have an odd relationship with water. They will love being around it and in it. Some Mintalkins don't like dark water, such as the ocean or a lake. On their home world, sun filtered through to the bottom of the ocean. Water is a very healing element for Mintalkins, although being near it often fulfills that purpose. Because their homeworld is no longer inhabitable, Mintalkins often feel a strange, sad longing for home. They love working from home and tend to be nesters. Awesome! Okay. Now the next thing that we're going to go over is your soul vibration rate. Now this is where your higher self, so your soul, right, is currently vibrating. Now, you're definitely going to shift vibrationally in this session. You'll shift at the level of your soul self, your higher self, and also at the physical level, at your physical body. Now, every time your higher self crosses into new dimensions, you will gain new levels of awareness, new levels of consciousness, and new aspects of yourself to have the physical experience with. Now, your higher self is currently vibrating at a 5.7, so it's right on the edge of the 5th dimension. With this clearing work, you'll definitely shift right into the 6th dimension. So you'll definitely have a lot of inspiration. You may have a lot of awesome dreams. Your dreams may become more lucid. And you could even potentially have oh goodness, it just, word just went right out of my head. Visions, so to speak. If they become difficult, just make sure that you're getting outside and grounding yourself to planet Earth. Being that you're divine masculine, you could start to have visions in your waking state and not just your dream state. And you may even want to journal about your dreams from now, for a few weeks, so that anything comes up, you can get up in the morning, write down a few notes about your dreams, and then in a few weeks look back and see how they've shifted and changed. All right, now the next thing we're going to go over, there is a physical history period that would benefit your soul growth at this time, and it's Old Kingdom Egypt, 3000 BC to 2000 BC. Now you can read books about that time period. You can watch TV shows, or you can even Google online about ancient Egypt or Old Kingdom Egypt. And there's also a mystery school that would benefit your soul growth at this time as well, and it's Ancient Egypt. Now that might be a little bit complicated. I wouldn't even worry about that until at least 3-4 weeks from now, simply because there's just a lot of information out there about the mystery schools, and it's basically the religion of that time, or the folklore of that time. where it talks about Osiris, and of course there's a lot of awesome documentaries online available as well. Now, it doesn't mean that you need to go out and join a church for ancient Egypt. I don't know that there might be some somewhere on the planet, but anyway, and it's definitely not something that you're going to just spend the rest of your life, you know, engaged in. Just read some books about that time period, take what resonates and toss the rest, okay? And I know that for myself, it would have been really beneficial if someone had told me, all right, just stay open, okay? Study all the religions, which I have, but it took a lot longer. I wish someone had told me when I was younger. I feel like I could have gotten a little bit farther than a little bit sooner. Because what I found in my own experience was that each religion had something that I resonated to, so I was able to take pieces from each one to help me on my journey. So it doesn't mean that this is going to be the one mystery school that's going to take you forever, but it would benefit you at this time, and just having an open mind about these type of things. All right, and the next thing that we're going to discuss is your God spark. Now, our God sparks, they're located right in this area. This is where we access vital life force energy. Now, because we have free will, right, and we can make choices and consequences that negate us away from who we are at soul level, our divinity. And that would be our divine soul blueprint, right, which also has your primary gifts. And through thousands and thousands and thousands of lifetimes, we have created a lot of negative choices, a lot of negative consequences that it's caused damage to our God spark. Now, with this soul realignment work, every time you receive a reading and clearing, your God spark will become more and more healed, and you'll have more and more access to vital life force energy, which has amazing benefits like improved health, improved lifetime, our lifetime longevity. Our bodies are designed to repair itself. I mean, they're perfectly designed, but it requires a lot of vital life force energy for them to operate at a premium rate. Now, unfortunately, we can't clear everything at once because we do shift vibrationally at our physical body. And our physical body is our densest body. So that kind of clearing would be detrimental because this body is so much denser. I mean, we have bones and tissue and skin, unlike our soul, our higher selves, which are just energy. All right, now the next thing that we're going to discuss is setting intentions, setting goals, meditating, praying. Every time we do these actions, we attract what's called white lights. Think of those like radio towers, okay? And you know how like when you turn on the radio and you fine tune it to a station, right? And the music comes in. Well, think of it like an outgoing radio signal from you to the universe. Now, every time we set intentions, goals, or pray for something, or meditate on something that we are desiring to experience, it goes out over the white lights and then into the universe for manifestation. Now, you currently have 21 white lights, which is awesome. So keep setting your intentions, setting goals for yourself. And the more you do that, the more white lights you'll attract. Now, once you reach 30 white lights, then you start attracting what's called blue lights. Think of those like satellites in space. It goes out over the white lights, and then it's amplified through the blue light and amplified again through each additional blue light that you attract. So your manifestation process gets faster and faster and faster. It's kind of like the network for manifestation. Now, the next thing that we're going to discuss is your spirit guides. Now, these are the spirit guides in your inner spirit guide circle. These are the guides that are with you 24/7. Now, you currently have 3 spirit guides, and these guides are with you all the time, helping guide you and help you make choices and consequences that are in alignment and for a positive experience. I guess that would be right. Anyway, so we're all born with one spirit guide, but then as we grow older, we become a child, and then we continue to grow. We start to make more and more of our own choices and consequences. And I know as a child you'd think, oh, I don't get to make any choices, but believe it or not, you really do. Anything from when you get old enough to select a toy that you want to play with, right? To maybe when you're in school and suddenly you get to choose what clothes you want to wear or what you want for lunch or whatever it is. Now, you will continue to hire spirit guides up until you are completely 100% making all of your choices and consequences, which usually is anywhere from 16 to 21 years of age, generally in that span. And most people will have either 4 to 6 spirit guides in their inner spirit guide circle. So the longer it takes for you to reach that point, generally you might get an additional spirit guide. But all your spirit guides so far are positive. Awesome. And of course, I feel that because you're starting your soul realignment journey now, the rest of your spirit guides will be in complete alignment. And you may even want to start to think about your future or where you see yourself in 10 years or 20 years or 30 years. And, based on that, you'll attract or hire subconsciously spirit guides that'll help you achieve those long-term goals. All right, now that is the full soul profile. And I know that's a lot of information. But like I said, you can rewatch this video as many times as you want. Now, the next thing that we're going to be going over is the actual clearing session. Now, in level 1, those are the least dense blocks in soul realignment. Now, when you get into level 2 blocks, those are denser than level 1. Those are held, all of level 1 are held at the 5th dimension in the Akashic records. Level 2 are denser, they're held in the 4th dimension at the level of your mind, so your mental body. And then level 3 would be the densest blocks, and they're held in the 3rd dimension at the physical level. Now, as moving forward, and you get additional clearing sessions, sometimes you'll have more level 1. Sometimes it'll just be level 2. Sometimes it might be level 2 and 3. Sometimes it might just be level 3, or it could be level 1, 2, and 3. It's based on intentions, your goals, prayers, meditations, and we clear what you can comfortably shift at the physical level. Now, in this first session, I don't go over all the blocks and restrictions because, number one, it would take way too long and it's way too boring and it's just not necessary. Now, I am going to read over the energies behind the densest blocks that were cleared. Now, it doesn't mean that you'll never feel these emotions again or experience these energies again. But what I've found for myself is that the more soul realignment work that I do, I feel those negative polarity energies less and less. And even when I do feel one, it'll hit me and it'll be there for a minute, but then it leaves, okay? So it just means that it becomes less and less. So these are the energies behind the densest blocks that we were cleared. Fear, criticism, anger, failure, loss, and self-doubt. Now, in level 1, these are all based on past life situations. So something happened in a past life that was very traumatic, very dramatic, and it created these energetic blocks in your Akashic records. Now, our Akashic records are every choice and consequence that we've ever created since the birth of our soul until this current lifetime, and even slightly into the future. All right. So basically in this session, we're going to do the past life regression, which there was one past life regression. And I'm going to, so I've already channeled that whole, what happened. Okay. Now, so I will be reading it. This actually occurred 363 lifetimes ago. It's not years, that's lifetimes. So it was a very long time ago. Now, in this lifetime, you were born in Egypt. So I would basically say it would be ancient Egypt. And you were closely related to the pharaohs, to the pharaoh of that time. That would have been like your uncle. You were raised in the palace with all of the pharaoh's immediate family. So brothers, sisters, their spouses, and their children. You played with your cousins. You studied with them. And they all felt like siblings to you. You even slept in the same wings, or in the same part of the castle, or the palace. Castle, palace, whatever. The only difference was the girls had their own wing and the boys had their wing. So the boys and girls were separated. But it felt like one big family. In the mornings, though, you had your gift talent study separately. Now, your gift was training wild animals. You had a hunting bird that was given to you first. And every day you would spend hours with your bird, teaching it to hunt, teaching it commands, and so on. Now, by the end, of course, then you started training additional birds. It wasn't, in the end, it wasn't just one bird. You'd train many birds. Now, the next animal you were given were a pair of lion cubs, whom you loved to wrestle with. You had a gift for communicating with animals. You may still be drawn to animals in that way. When you became a teenager, your bird would sit on your shoulder and your lions at your side. They were trained to protect you and, of course, the royal heirs, the royal families. You had an arranged marriage and married at the age of 14, and your parents retired to an estate close by. You lived in the palace with your new bride, who actually grew to be a little jealous of your relationship with your animals. You had 2 children by the time you turned 18, and you began to work with snakes. By this time, you had been slowly exposed to snakes' venom, and you were immune to them. That took over 10 years to complete. So you were slowly exposed to the snake's venom so that you could build immunity to it. It was a great honor to achieve. You had 2 more children by the time you were 21, and the pharaoh passed away and was replaced by the eldest prince, the heir, his eldest son. You were both the same age, and you were his personal bodyguard and his right-hand man. So you were his trusted advisor. There were lots of celebrations and parties for several years. He had 3 children, but no male heirs yet. Finally, he had a son, but around the time that his son was born, there was civil unrest that had developed, meaning the Egyptians, the people, were not happy and they were kind of like raising commotions. Now, okay, so the civil unrest had developed. He became paranoid and fearful of his son's safety, as his younger brother had 3 healthy older sons. He asked you to get rid of all the male heirs, the other male heirs, and make it look like an accident. So he kind of went a little crazy. I don't know if you've seen Game of Thrones, but it would be kind of like in that same thing where they were always trying to get rid of heirs. You were torn and conflicted. So instead, you banned all of them from Egypt and sent them to the farthest point possible. But nothing made the young Pharaoh feel secure. Eventually, his young son did fall ill and died. He blamed you for not eliminating the other heirs, which of course had nothing to do with the situation. Eventually, the Pharaoh lost his mind and was killed by a snake bite at your hand. You never thought in a million years that your gift would be used against those you had sworn to protect. Then the new Pharaoh was crowned. So it would have been the Pharaoh's younger brother. And civil order was restored. You struggled from then on with nightmares, and eventually you resigned yourself and walked into the desert with your animals to never be seen again. Okay, so it was kind of like that situation where the Pharaoh just got paranoid and he was afraid that, because he didn't have a male heir, that his brother would overthrow him. And it did. It created a huge civil unrest, so the people were unhappy. And to make things right, and then also too, you had to watch him diminish into a crazy person. And yeah, so you just had to make a hard choice there. But of course, all of that's been cleared. Now the memories do remain intact, so you may have dreams about being a snake charmer or some sort of animal trainer or of that time period. All right. Blessings into infinity.